Where do you go?
Yeah, exactly. But ironically, so this is a point that
I think he has a penis.
I want to be sure.
He definitely identifies as a lesbian. I might have read a Twitter comment about how preposterous that was and said the penis part.
There's something that Andrew Sullivan wrote in a recent article. This is that the transgender thing is at odds with gay rights in a fundamental sense. You can't balance these equations because, gay identity absolutely focuses on the legitimate differences between men and women. It's like, I'm a man, I like men, I don't like women. That's my situation. But once you change your notion of how gender relates to sex, it begins to erode this claim on the legitimacy of gay identity.
Right? Well, the thing is that they're all marginalized, so they stick together. That's the idea, I guess, behind it.
Sort of, but I can only imagine what Andrew Sullivan's Twitter feed looks like now.
So it's like some drunk in a crowd, right? He goes, Jesus Christ, and so he's violent. He's like berating this guy, trying to do stand-up while he's doing it. And some woman yells out, "Actually, how the fuck is that rape culture?" Like he's clearly making a joke about something she said that was very, very patronizing. Like, obviously he doesn't think there's something funny about rape. He's just trying to work through this ad-lib set that he's doing with some guy who yelled out something that this whole crowd has to respond to. You can't just ignore the fact that it happened and go, "How about fire trucks, folks? Why are they always red?" He can't do that. He's got to deal with what this guy said, and so that's what he tosses out there, and everybody.
Mausi.
But also, isn't part of his persona just
ability?
He takes it to the edge, right?
Yes. He's edgy comedian. He's funny, and and Jamie and I had this little tit for tat about it, but he's very honest about his mistakes. Like when you talk to him, and he's got great insight because he was that guy. He was that guy that was going back and forth with people online all day and checking his mentions. Like, couldn't walk down the street more than 5 steps before he'd pull out his phone and check his mentions to see how people are responding to his latest dunking or takedown. Or it's a toxic thing that people are doing. It's this looking for people that are bad, looking for things that are wrong, looking for wrong speak. It's very toxic. It's toxic for the people that are doing it. It's toxic for the people that are receiving it. It's just
Mausi.
not a way that human beings would ever communicate one-on-one. I mean, I try to communicate with people the same way online as I would if they were right in front of me. I don't always succeed, but I try. That's my goal. My goal is to try to talk to someone as if they were right in front of me. At any moment, if someone goes wrong, if you're on a highway like with 405 and 7 miles an hour, it is a fucking miracle that no one dies. And every day you do it. Every day everything's fine.
Yeah, so let's go back to this idea of
Mausi.
The actual normative response would be when somebody puts the main defensible thing they did as a teenager, right?
Yeah.
Like this, that these guys who are now having their careers destroyed for having dressed up, in blackface or in a hood for Halloween or whatever it was. I mean, I think that one politician said he's not even in the photo, but the photo was on his yearbook page. Like, whatever you put on your yearbook page in high school, right? You find out this thing that no adult is going to defend, right? But what is the path back? What is the reboot that should be acceptable? Because we don't even know, it seems we don't even know what could conceivably work to rehabilitate somebody's career. And yet on this other side, we've got people who, again, are being let out of prison for murders they admit they committed, right? Or rapes they admit they committed, and they're rehabilitated, and these are stories we're supposed to feel good about, right? So we have to figure out how to square this on the left. And I don't know. The way I've been thinking about it is that it has to be intelligible how you are different from the person who committed that thing, right? So, like, if you did something that was, let's say, legit racist when you were 20, and like Mark Wahlberg is an example of this. I mean, he was running around just beating people senseless, right? And for avowed racist motives, I believe, when he was a teenager.
Well, the guy lost a lot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, but and I think that was a Vietnamese guy he attacked, but I mean he was just doing truly indefensible things. Now I don't know what sort of PR moment he's had since, or how he's apologized for it, but I mean that was a very different time. I think if all that stuff was being discovered about him now, there may be no way back.
Well, the problem is, with this day and age, it could be reignited. Even though and also people have to recognize that there's some things where you can't retroactively instill today's ideas of what constitutes racism on 1985. So if you were in high school in 1985 and you dressed up as Mr. T, right. That, I don't know if that was racist back then. I never did, but I don't know if that's racist. Like, if you had a bunch of gold chains and you made your hair black, or you made your face black and gave yourself a mohawk and said, I'm Mr. T for Halloween, right. And the pictures emerged today, what you did when you went door to door when you were 15 or 12 or whatever you were, knocking on people's doors and everybody was laughing, oh, you're Mr. T! Nobody thought it was racist.
Yeah.
But today...
But let's take the hard case. Let's say you were racist, right? And so I had this guy, Christian Picciolini, on my podcast once, who's a ex-neo-Nazi. He's just legit racist. So he's got all the tattoos to prove it. And now there are major problems with Christian Picciolini, as I think you know, that I discovered after that podcast. But so this is not an endorsement of him. Sorry, Christian. But there's a path back. I mean, so like he is celebrated on the left. Yeah, he's a former neo-Nazi, and he's I discovered him on Sarah Silverman's show on wherever that is, Hulu, and he's a darling of the left, right, and darling of MSNBC for this redemption story. So, what is you take someone like